Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez and welcome to our special edition where we will give you a summary of news from investing.com and CNBC from across the region. Now, to kick off, we take a look at how markets have performed across the world, and we start with crypto markets. Bitcoin is at 22,345. It's down 0.46%. Ethereum is at 1,559. It's down 0.81%. Now, looking across to regional equity markets, we start with the SGX, which is down 0.17%. The KLSC is up 0.05%. Shanghai is down 0.23%. The ASX All Ordinaries is up 0.53%. The Nikkei is up 1.15%. The Hang Seng is up marginally 0.01%. And rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is up 1%. Now, looking across the news summary across the region, the Chinese government, first of all, said over the weekend that it is targeting growth of 5% this year, up from 3% in 2022. But the forecast was regarded as softer than analysts' expectations, which ING noting that the government was likely expecting a slowdown in overseas demand for Chinese goods. However, UBS raised its growth forecast for China for 2023 from 4.9% to 5.4%. Now, the firm said in a report earlier this morning. Now, oil prices retreated today on that weaker than expected GDP forecast from China, which dented some optimism over a recovery in crude demand this year, while markets also hunkered down before a slew of clues from US economic policy later this week. Now, the soft outlook for the Chinese economy also undermines bets that a recovery in the country would drive oil demand to record highs this year. Now, even as data last week indicated that business activity had recovered sharply after the lifting of anti COVID restrictions. Now, to give you an idea of numbers, Brent crude futures fell 0.9% to $85.27 a barrel, while Texas Intermediate crude futures fell 0.6% to $79.70 a barrel. Now, crude prices were still riding on strong gains from the previous week, following better than expected Chinese economic data last week and shifting bets on the path of US monetary policy this year. Now, Chinese inflation and trade data is also due this week and is expected to provide more cues on the economic state of the world's largest oil importer. Now, we look at South Korea next. South Korea's consumer price index rose 4.8% on an annualized basis in February. Now, that's a far slower pace than January's 5.2%. Now, this is according to Statistics Korea. Now, compared to a month ago, prices increased 0.3% alongside falling oil prices. Alongside falling food prices, while utilities rose a whopping 28.4%. Now, this marks the economy's first time the inflation numbers are below 5% in 10 months. And this is according to data by Refinitiv. Now, the South Korean won weakened 0.23% to 1,298.72 against the US dollar after the inflation report. However, the focus for this week is the US. And that's starting with a testimony from the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell tomorrow, which is expected to shed more light on where US interest rates would go this year. Now, stronger than expected inflation readings have ramped up concerns of rising rates, now supporting the dollar and weighing on crude oil prices. But a sharp reversal in the dollar has benefited crude prices by late last week. Now, the dollar steadied today after stinging losses last week. Markets fear that a slowdown in economic activity caused by high interest rates will stymie oil demand this year. Rising US interest rates had battered crude markets throughout 2022 and have kept prices depressed so far in 2023. Now, investors' eyes are also trained on non-farm payroll data for February, which is due out this Friday. Any signs of strength in the jobs market gives the Fed more economic headroom to keep raising interest rates. Now, high inflation in Europe is also expected to elicit a hawkish response from the European Central Bank. Now, amid tightening global monetary conditions. Now, that's a wrap from BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. You've been watching and listening to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. It'll also be on our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.